That's right, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. Today, it's episode 733. That's right, 733. I'm here as a good friend of mine, Kaye Laine. It's great to have you on the show once again. Last time we actually did a show together was about, actually I wrote the date this time, August 20th, 2017. So if anyone can go back and look at season 4, episode 379. You can see the before and after. As you know, I had to decorate my bed last time. Now I have a green screen. Big improvement. But for people who want to know who Kaye Laine is, you are a professional actress, professional upcoming actress, and you also are a owner and designer.
I'm an owner and a designer, and I do own a shoe line, but it's not really working right now since COVID-19. And my social media manager went back to college, so I'm kind of on my own with that. But I do have projects that are coming up. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA, so we'll see how that goes. I actually am a part of a show that's supposed to be filmed in Canada, and that got put on hold because of COVID-19.
I understand. I was thinking about doing stand-up. People don't think I'm funny. First, I actually downloaded this. I don't know if it gets obnoxious, but I wanted to try to make the show different. But I tried so many different things. I do voiceovers for fun. I try to do like special acts on the show. Like for an example, a special act would say, "Oh, you're a professional singer. Could you sing a song?" But you can't use any music because the music's copyrighted. I found out recently that even just singing any song, it comes up like, "Oh, these lyrics are copyrighted." So it's kind of like, okay, let's do something more fun, something more generic that isn't copyrighted. So if someone who's a comedian who wants to do stand-up and tell jokes, someone who wants to do like a circus act or whatever, that stuff isn't copyrighted. So I want to have like musicians on, play like the guitar and to sing. But if it's gonna be YouTube copyrighted, so I kind of like maybe I can wait on that till I get something a little better. But in the meantime, oh, it didn't work. Never mind. But like I said, it's great to see you again after 3 years. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I've lived a little bit of a hard life. I'm right now, I got guardianship over my oldest child. He is 17. He has autism, and he's an amazing boy. He's teaching me a lot. I only had joint custody before and seeing him about every other weekend, but now he's with me all the time. He has an amazing brain, and I think it's going to go somewhere, but that's what I've been doing. I lived in my car for a while before that, and I heard my son was in trouble. So I finally found a place, and COVID-19 kind of pushed me a little bit too. And my mom did. But I mean, I always worked. Even when you live out of your car in LA, it's because it's too expensive. And I worked out at the gym every day. I went to my acting gigs that I was going to. And I just worked really hard. And I also had a job on the side. But everything just seems like it's getting a little bit better by a little bit better. And of course, I work, I do the gigs that I get from Central Casting, and I have 2 agents as well. And I'm a part of a table reading group that we practice reading, and then we perform it. And I used to go that more often, but of course, COVID-19 kind of dampers a lot of that, but we're also thankful for Zoom. And I'm learning all my son's classes on Zoom. So I'm learning economics again, and I'm learning a lot of stuff that I'm like, English. Okay, so we got to read Beowulf. We got to do all of these things. And I'm like, I already did all of this. And my son sometimes quietly walks away while I'm helping him with his homework, thinking that I'm going to do it for him. But then I pull him back in. But that's what I've been up to. COVID-19 slowed things down for about everybody. So just one foot in front of the other, and good things are going to happen, even with acting. And you just never stop. You never give up, especially the programs that the union provides as well. They really do help out.
No, absolutely. Now, the first question I want to ask you, when you started your career, from our last episode, you did mention you have a disability. So what's the focus on that? Because that's a hint of the show. When you became an actress, how did you overcome your obstacle of dealing with your learning disability?
There's ways that I learned how to do it. I'll show you one thing here. When I get sent a script, I usually, if it's sent to me before I show up or whatever, if I'm cold reading at an audition, I usually have it printed off on a green paper because I can read it better. But other than that, I carry this thing around with me. And it's like my green screen. It filters and it just makes everything, the words very clear. It makes the words stay in the right place and they don't move around and stuff. There's a movie that explains my vision and everything, and they don't mention Erland syndrome in it. But if it's Night School, and if you see that movie and the way that Kevin Hart deals with everything, that's how I see everything as well, just like him.
It's funny, that when you took the thing out, the first thing that popped in my head was if you were in an audition, you would just do this and then block everything else around you, so you just stay focused on your thing. I guess you could do that too. But do you really want to do this when you're doing an audition?
Oh, no. This right here, this green screen, if they give me the paper, like the script or whatever, I just have to do like this and I read it and it comes out clear. But if I don't have that, then everything is just jumping around on the page.
No, absolutely. For me, I actually wrote a couple of questions. I have pages of these. And for me, I make them simple and to the point. I'm really good at ad-libbing because people say I talk out of my, talk out of my butt. But, I can think on the spot. And if you say, okay, here's the script, I need someone like you to sit down with me and go over it 3 or 4 times so it sinks in. But you said, okay, Keith, what's this scenario? Kate, you're right. Sorry, Ms. Laine, you're doing a script, like a scene. Keith, your job is to watch, and after they reenact the part, you're gonna be added to it, and you're gonna jump into the script. And how would you reenact to the scene? So, for an example, you're talking to your boyfriend about, I don't know, getting an apartment or something, and then I'm supposed to be added there, but you're talking for me for a third person. So then you would cut, you would edit, and I would come in and you would say, Keith, what do you think about this? Then instead of reading the script, I would just say, oh, I think blah, 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 blah. So I can do stuff like that. I like to add
Improv. Yeah.
Improv, thank you. And when you do improv, it comes off more authentic. It comes off more real than saying, what was my line again? And then you hold up the whole scene. Funny enough, Jackie Chan does not read a script.
There's some people that don't. Marlon Brando always had an earpiece with him because I don't even think he studied when he went on set. But I had a class a while back that I used to take that we would do improv. We would study the scenes, but then the teacher would just totally pull us out of that scene and wanted us to act it and use our own words on how we interpreted it. And that kind of, and he would have us repeat it until we felt the mood, until we really got into it. And it was our own lines, our own script, and put in our own feeling into it. And that, I like that. It makes it more authentic.
I agree with you 100%. It's always better to be real than put a fake front up.
Yeah, and people can see that as well.
Now, the next one I want to add to is, say someone has, okay, use me for a perfect example. I have horrible reading skills. What would be the best way for someone to memorize a script? Saying if improv is an option, I'll say be happy to take it. But say you have to read the script. You mentioned the guy with the earpiece, and I'm thinking, well, I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Maybe I should have someone talking to me in my earpiece and pronounce the name for me. Because if you say the name for me, I can pronounce it. But do you think that's an option when you're on stage? You mentioned one actor had an earpiece. What is your opinion? Do you think because you have a disability, people would be kind of more relatable?
Some people are more patient with it, and some people when you go and you say your script, but the thing is, there's people that have to have those types of people in their lives every day to understand. I wrote some papers a long time ago about how accepting people with disabilities into society in every part of your life, not just when you go to work, because some people can't do the job. They could be a door greeter. They could be a person who's smiling. And if it's not that job, they will be part of your home. And we should have somebody like that in our home in every minute of our life. And that becomes norms. Later, what happened? I had a daughter when I first started going to college, and now I have 3 kids. And they're all older now. My youngest is 14, but I seen as my son with his disability is more severe. He's in the autism spectrum. He has epilepsy, and you can tell when you talk to him. And he's got an amazing brain. He's like a walking dictionary. But his sisters, that's the norms. They grew up with it. It's in their lives. This is after I wrote the paper. And I see it everywhere I go. Everybody's trying to make everything the norms. And that's what we need to do. We need to make everybody love other people. Now you said the question was, how do I, with my disability, memorize? I just have to go over and over, and I have to record myself if I have that amount of time. Sometimes I don't have that amount of time, and I just have to do my best, and I have to just break it down piece by piece. Like the first sentence, and then the next sentence, and then the next sentence. And I don't have the best memory like I used to. I'm in my 40s, and my oldest child, I think, took it. She's in college now, so.
Now, the other question I want to ask you is social media. With everything that you accomplish in your life, do you think and consider a great platform? Well, let me rephrase that. With everything that you accomplish, do you give thanks to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and say, if it wasn't for these formats, I couldn't really connect with who I wanted? Like, for an example, what was when social, I know you're older than me, but say now you're doing something online and people message you. Do you say, you know what? It's because I post something on Facebook, I actually connected with somebody? Or do you think it's just another way of communication of social media could help you or help anybody get into the business and get recognized more?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that social media has helped me. I used to have better luck with it because it evolves. And when it first came out, I had thousands and thousands of followers from Facebook and Twitter. I had over 25,000 followers, but now that's like a little crumb. It was big back then, back in the day, but when it first started out, but now it's just like a crumb because people have millions of followers. I got more work. I did a lot of modeling. I did swimsuit modeling when I was younger. A lot of that stuff has been pulled, but I got extra modeling jobs, more paid work. I took advantage of it. I just promoted, and I also had a good team around me that promoted my stuff on social media for me if I didn't have time. Because I have 3 kids, and they were littler at the time. I became a ring girl for a little while down by Yuma at the Q on the California side. And I mean, I got paid work like that, and I was nominated in 2013 as the Latin Model of the Year. I got all of that through social media. And they even did a little reality show with Vivo, can't remember, some Vivo Latina America. I'm not saying it correct, but I got a lot of opportunities, but you have to learn how to evolve with social media. Social media is a little more difficult than it used to be for my age. For the younger generation, it's just, I watch my teenagers, and my youngest one she has her YouTube channel. She has a lot of these other things, and she just boom, boom, boom. She gets it done. She knows how to do it. She's taught me a lot of things, how to use certain apps.
Hey, maybe she would like to help me, point me in the right direction.
She's pretty savvy. I have to take notes.
And for me, someone would say to me, Keith, are you on social media? Yeah, I'm on everything. A lot of people say, you really are like a bad rash because you're everywhere. When I turn around, you're there. I look over here, you're there. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. I don't use Pinterest, but I'm on there. I'm on Tumblr, LinkedIn, Snapchat, you name it, I'm on there. But for me, what I feel is my base of operations. Actually, that's a new thing I'm going to say, base of operations. If it wasn't for these 4, I wouldn't be where I am today. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Especially LinkedIn, because that's where I met a whole bunch of people. A lot of great people I met, a lot of crappy people I met.
Yeah.
Like social media, you look at someone's picture, say, hey, that looks like someone I want to talk to. And you actually say, I can't wait to talk to this person. And then you finally talk to that person. You're like, oh, God, I waited this long to talk to this person? He's dumber than paint on the wall. But, but a lot of people put a face on. And, for me, what you see is what I get. Am I a bad guy? No. Do I wear a white hat? No. Am I sometimes, an ass? Yes. I take responsibility for that. But I do my best to be a good person. I do stupid things because I have poor mannerisms and poor social skills. But that doesn't dictate who I am and how I'm going to be. And, I reached out to people writing a book. People told me to write a book. I have thought about it. I was really thinking about it. It's like, I'm a horrible storyteller. I wrote 1 book because I was jealous of my brother. My brother wrote a book, and I said, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. And you know what? That was a big waste of time. Because the book I created was when you overcome controversy, dreams do come true, even if you have a learning disability. And I was working with Exuberance, and I said, can someone reread this? Can someone organize it for me? Yeah, we can do that. It's a readable, yes. I got it. And for giving an example, instead of my mom going to community college, it said my mom went to comedy college. And instead of saying I was born, it says I rise. So unless the book was made to be like a big joke, hey, let someone have fun with it. I give you an example. Um, my family likes to poke fun at this, and they're like, "Can you spell title for me?" Now I know it's Title. What I wrote on the book was tittle, Tittle. So, the tittle of the story. So it was filled with spelling errors. And one thing about it was, I did this in fifth grade. And long story short, I'm not a storyteller. I would like someone to write my book. But to be honest, I don't know if I have my head on my butt or whatever. I don't really think I accomplished anything. I mean, yes, 733 episodes. I am now on social media. Big whoop. Everyone's on social media. I was actually showing my episode on Manhattan Neighborhood Broadcasting, but and I was interviewed by a couple of magazines, newspapers, but I don't feel like I'm at the point in my life where, yes, you are an inspiration, but you're not at that point yet. Yes, you're doing something great, but you need to push yourself more. With everything that you accomplish in your life, you are in films, the people know you are established. And so for you, it's a great opportunity for you to write a book because you have a solid story from what you did from point A to the point Z. But say if you're a great storyteller, you can sell anything. You could probably sell ice in the winter. If you are a good salesman, you can sell anything. But for me, I don't think I'm at that point. But anyway, the next question I want to ask you is when I first having a brain fart, now I'm having to put myself on the spot. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on, as you mentioned, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? What are your primary sites?
Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I do have a Twitter. I got locked out when I was being stalked one time, really bad, and I got a new phone, different number, and everything. And Twitter kept saying that they'll send me a passcode to this number, and I don't have that number, and there was no way around it. I couldn't get a hold of anybody at Twitter. And so I created a new account, and I didn't even touch it. I need to do something. I want that old account back. That's what I really want. But I use LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. I'm a little old school and I need to up my game, but I think I'm waiting on a few things. I'm also waiting on this COVID-19 to kind of go down and give me more energy. Maybe my son might take a couple classes in the classroom so I could just have a breather for the morning. But because we're together 24/7.
No, I understand completely. One of my bad habits is I make people handshake. So I'm here constantly with my family. I know for a fact I make their hands shake. But sometimes you do need alone time to actually, you can sit outside and just stare off on space, let your mind wander, get soundproof headphones and turn out the sound. But at the same time, yes, I agree with you 100%. I'm not doing anything until there's a vaccine. Once there's a vaccine, I'll probably go back to work, get some more money, make some merchandise. But right now, it's kind of like your hands are tied. Not to talk about politics or anything, but the second wave is coming. And with the flu season, you won't know if you have the flu or you have corona. But with that being said, that's a complete other subject for another time. But wrapping up our talk show, when I want you to be brutally honest, and it can be as honest as you like. When I approached you to be a guest on my second time, when I approached you to be a guest on my show the second time, what was your first reaction? Were you like, oh, I had a great time with this guy. of course, or were you like, oh my God, not this guy again?
No, you are super nice. It's just, and I feel great when I talk to you. I really like sharing this information. It also helps me in social media. If I keep canceling my appointments, it's because I always have a kid. I have 3 children, and I'm like, okay, I'm going over here and I'm going over here, and I got to take care of this, and I have court hearings, and I have a lot of things on my plate. But we finally meet, and we always have a great conversation, and there's always great energy. So.
And if your kids are always around, we'll have kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They're more than welcome to be on the show. Who knows? Maybe they want to be actors one day.
My youngest one has a little bit taste of it. I used to clean houses for a while, and I didn't know one of the people that I was cleaning houses actually was a photographer for a few famous people and worked in different areas. He was working for this water company for advertising, and it was spring break, and I got to bring my kids with me to clean this guy's house. And he'd always, send me home with stuff because he does a lot of advertising. So he's taking like human-sized robots, and I got a electric guitar from him, and he's like, give it to your daughter, give this to your daughter, give this one to your son. And I'm like, okay. So I would always go home with something like an amp. One time I came home with an amp too. It was like I would come home with all these things, and I went over there with my kids to clean his house. He allowed me to have him over there, and he meets him, and he's like, I'm doing a Pandora commercial for this water company, and I love your daughter's voice. Could we use her? So I didn't really want her to get into the entertainment industry, but she's always asked and always asked. I think it's more something when you get older. I don't want to live my life through my child. I want her to figure things out herself. And I talked it over with her father, and we decided, let's let her have a try at this. And not even a week later, she's like, Mom, I liked it. I want to do it again. She's gotten up on stages and done stand-up comedy. Her sister wrote a lot of her stuff, and she gets a crowd going before she gets on a stage. But I just don't push it. I told her I had to have a sit-down talk with her. You're a friend, kid. You don't know what all this stuff requires when you're on a set. And
Wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 3 down the road.